Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharyamathyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Over to you, Punjabi Kesh.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः वेश्येमदेवैतं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्त्रार्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay, may I have an announcement at the end of the class, so just hold on. Okay. Yes. So about birth and death and the pot space we saw. Okay. Now, he's taking a slightly different tack. How come all these came from the consciousness? Okay. That consciousness is non-changing, etc., etc. All that he elaborately described. Then how did all this come? So that little bit he's talking about here. Sangataha swapnavat sarve atma maya vivarchitaha adikye sarvasamyeva no bhupatirha vidyate. Sangataha. Sangata meaning your body-mind complex. Sangata means anything that is assembled together. Anything that is intelligently put together is called a Sangata. And that's what you call a creation. Anything that is intelligently put together. Yeah. Like, how do you know this is a created entity? Because you're seeing this and it has been intelligently put together. Therefore, there must be a pen maker somewhere who has done that. Verse 10. So, it's been intelligently put together. We know that. So, this body is also intelligently put together. Completely different organs. All functioning as one unit. All functioning as one unit. So, there's an intelligently put together. So, this Sanghata, anything intelligently put together, Swapnavat Sarvehi. Say Swapnavat. We have already seen that in the first chapter. Elaborately. Second chapter also. Remember? Elaborately, he tried to prove all the arguments, how it is different, how it is independent. Swapnavat. So much so that after that, he doesn't talk about 3 states. He only talks about 2. Either only avidya is there or avidya plus projections are there. Dream and waking he clubbed together. Therefore, he is reminding you of that. Swapnavat sarvehi atma maya visarjita. Atma maya. From the consciousness alone, the maya that is based in consciousness alone, this is manifested. We have discussed maya, what maya is also elaborately. Because it's important that consciousness cannot change to become the world. If consciousness is manifest to the world, since consciousness being limitless is akarta abhokta, what is responsible for it? Akarta abhokta meaning cannot do anything, cannot receive anything. Therefore, in between, what is responsible? So, bring in the idea of Maya. We have seen that 18 elephants, all that thing we have seen. The story of the 17 elephants, 18 elephants, all that we have seen. Therefore, that is Maya. It says Visarjitaha. Adikye sarvamaya eva na upatihi vidyate. Says you can't give any logic about which is superior, which is inferior, because it is useful, it is true, etc. Some Mayikam things are useful, some Maya things are not useful. The table, which is also Maya, has a use to keep something on it. The snake that you see on the rope doesn't have a use. Not strictly. It has a use. It scared you. So, he says, what are you saying? Because it's important, it is real? No, sometimes unreal is important. In Bombay, there is not a single road that is not dug up. Okay? Either metro work or drainage work or resurfacing, something or the other is going on. So it's difficult to walk. But we are very glad at the pure mithya thing that the road appears flat. The earth is flat. Just imagine with all these headaches that the earth was experienced as round. Experienced as round. And you have to walk on a round earth with it dug up here, dug up there. So sometimes we are very happy with the mithya thing also. Yeah. The idea is that, hey, what argument are you going to give? We saw that elaborately. Dismissal of all the arguments that waking is more real than dream. Second chapter we saw it elaborately. So when anyone wants to visit those, the videos are there in the YouTube. Okay. You want to revisit that. Yeah. So he says you can't prove anything. Any argument given about dream being being mithya and waking more real is given from the waker's standpoint. From the dreamer's standpoint, it cannot be said. Only from the waker's standpoint you can say that. From the dreamer's standpoint, he doesn't even know you exist. You are not there. Yeah. So all these arguments we have seen elaborately. Therefore he says, okay, na upapatti iha vidyate. Therefore there is no example, no logic to prove that. Okay. That means what? Anything that you take as other than consciousness, anything that you take as other than consciousness is an appearance of consciousness. Existence consciousness is the reality behind the whole world. That is why you take anything, even an inert thing like this book. When you analyze what it is, it ends up as what? Book is only a form of existence. The reality behind this book is formless existence. So it's formless existence that's appearing as the book. There may be steps for you to understand that. Book, paper, wood pulp, hydrocarbons, okay, you can go on like that. But the fact remains at the end of the day, the truth has to be formless existence alone. Vikaro namadeyam mritikeva satyam. All these vikaras, modifications, are only a word. In fact, what you call creation is something you are conceived of. No? It's only a concept. Then because we are finite human beings in our functioning, we require some external action to make that concept functional. Isn't that what it is? Whether you are making a pot or a complex computer, conception is translated into a functioning thing. I can't even say a concept is made into reality. It's not reality. It's functionally valid. So what is this world about anyway? All concepts in function. When I, the functioning entity, is also a concept, no? My functioning depends upon my ahankara. My ahankara is conceptual. My opinion about myself, my notion about myself is what we call ahankara. Ahankara is just a notion. I am like this only. It seems to have reality, like the whole world seems to have reality, just because it's based on existence awareness. Because based on existence consciousness, it seems to have a reality. But really speaking, where is the reality? Reality belongs to existence consciousness. What is everything else? Concept. What is ahankara? Concept. Karma, karma phala, concept. All your actions, conceptual. Heaven, hell, etc., conceptual. 7 lokas up, 7 lokas below, conceptual. Not apart from existence awareness. So in this, for you something is more important, for somebody else something is more important. That's all. If I am looking for sand, silica for a scientific experiment, gold is an impurity. Eh? How can gold be an impurity? Sand is impure. No. I want silica, sand. You put gold into it, it becomes an impurity for me. Why? For my experiment, sand is important. Yeah. So what is important, etc.? Purely functioning standpoint. This body, mind, etc., that I give so much of importance. Functioning standpoint, mithya thing, doesn't have reality. And I'm saying the world doesn't have reality. We are stuck. In modern days, my inner reality is the most important thing. What is so important about your inner reality, tell me? Well, nothing but thoughts. Oh, but I've been traumatized. What trauma are you talking about? I'm now talking from the standpoint of consciousness, okay? What trauma? Went through some experience. This is dismissal of the whole thing. At the psychological level, you have to handle it. I'm not denying that. The psychological level, handle it. But remember one thing. The more you realize that this reality has to correlate with the outer reality, your handling becomes easier. If you give this more important than what is outside, you have a problem at hand. There has to be a certain harmony. That's what objectivity is about. Otherwise, all the time it's about I, what I want this, I want that, I. And it's all hidden very nicely. This is being assertive. I'm standing up for myself, I'm creating boundaries. Revade. We have seen all that. You can justify anything. At the end of the day, is it functioning? Yeah, good, then you're on track. No. Then examine it. What you're doing. Why? Because as far as functioning is concerned, you have to do what works. Remember, this is one important life lesson. To do what works. No, I'm a person of principle, I'll keep doing this. It's not working. Why are you stuck on something? No, it's a matter of principle. What principle are you talking about? Dharma? Or in the name of principles, you're stuck on your own thinking. Because you think that's the most important thing anyway. That's not what it is. But that's still at the functioning level only. Why am I mentioning the functioning? Because people are stuck there. You have to ease yourself from there to understand the reality. Just functioning. So important, relative, some importance is there. You forget the existential realities that pushed you to Vedanta. But Swamiji, this is my life purpose. Yeah. At the end of the day, what does it really matter? Your life purpose, once you are gone, does it matter to anyone else? Your successors will undo a lot of the things that you have done. Have you thought about that? It's happening with Tatas right now. Why? Because now it's their turn to take the thing forward. then naturally you'll undo. Yeah. So that is the existential issue. That your purpose means nothing much to others. It may mean something to you, doesn't mean much to others. Therefore you find a sense of purposelessness. Therefore you come to Vedanta. And now don't go back to square one and say, my purpose is everything. You have discovered that your purpose is limited, this, etc. There is no real purpose. It all ends with the grave. And because of that you came to Vedanta. Now are you trying to turn it backwards and say purpose? But functionally you need to have a purpose. So have a purpose functionally. Do what it takes. Do what is necessary. Simple purpose. Once you know the truth, that's all it becomes. What is necessary? Yeah. And Swamiji, this knowledge is so important now. We must take it to everyone in the world. That's my new purpose now. Your purpose, if at all, is to share it with those who want it. Create an awareness and leave it at that. You're going to take it to the world, it's not going to work. Because only a few will come to it anyway. You will get disappointed, that's all that will happen. Nothing else. So, the idea of this, that the whole thing is just conceptual, projection of Maya. I am elaborating that little Maya because this is where we get stuck. We have a block understanding. We say, oh, all this is Maya. That's true, only consciousness is real.
That's very theoretical.
Then if someone said something which is a bit insulting, you get upset. He only said it, did he do anything? No. Then, he only made a joke and you got upset at it. No, Swamiji, nobody gets upset at a joke. Really? Husband and wife walking on the road. Okay. Husband really loves his wife. Okay. So suddenly a fierce dog comes running. Both of them are scared because both of them are sure he'll bite them. So to save the wife, the husband lifts her up. Let the dog come and bite me and my legs, at least my wife is safe. So the dog looks at that and is very puzzled. So he barks a few times, then walks away. So the husband lets the wife stand up, thinking now, at least now she will respect what I did, She'll give me a hug, she'll give me... And you know what the wife says? I had seen people throwing books, stones, slippers, footwear at the dogs. First time I am seeing a man lifting up his wife to throw that. Everyone is laughing now, but some wives may not be very happy with this, okay? Especially with the follow-up comment on that joke. It's part of the joke. Nobody can misunderstand a husband as well as his wife. Go back and think, that last statement I am not happy with. Everyone will laugh, but some people will have that small thing in the back of the mind. The last statement I am not happy with. Everything else is okay. Yeah. And imagine if somebody has forwarded this joke to your husband on the phone. It's a WhatsApp message. And he shows it to you. You know what this is? How funny this is. All you men are like that. Just a joke. Yeah. And then some people will say, it's all men only who create jokes like this. Men create jokes about everything, Baba. Yeah. Hey, I'm not getting to the men-woman thing, okay? I'm just saying how even something like this. Mithya, na? A joke is a mithya of a mithya thing. Come on. World is mithya. The joke is further mithya in that. Now why are you getting so upset on that? Are you seeing what I'm trying to explain here? Unless you can see getting bugged is also mithya and be able to laugh it off. You got bugged, hey, come on, yeah, why am I getting bugged at a joke? It's mithya, laugh it off. That is okay then. But that means you still have to take a step. By the way, to one of the students here, I have sent this joke to their husband. Now you'll have to find out who is the person I sent the joke to. I received it in my sailors group. I mean, these are jokes I can share, what I receive in my sailors group. Other jokes I can't share. What I'm trying to say is that be able to see the mithyatvam of the thing. The whole thing, creation, is a joke. Ishvara's bluff, he wants you to call it. Yeah. Puja Swami used to say, it's all Ishvara's bluff. Call that bluff. See it as a joke and laugh along with him. Mithyatvam means that. Swamiji, all that is true, but I have a lot of problems. Okay, we'll sit and discuss it. We'll handle it. So if you're stuck on a problem, we have to handle it. But understand, at least when you're thinking about it, thing is mithya. Problem is also mithya. Solution is also mithya. So a mithya problem will get a mithya solution. Chalo. So the mithyatvam has to extend all this way, okay? Yeah. My son is not behaving as I want. Yeah. What he's doing is all mithya. Correct, Swamiji, it's all mithya. What you're thinking is also mithya. Huh? Swamiji, but that's correct, no? What do you mean that's correct? That's also mithya. Yeah. How can that be Satya? Different perspectives, different standpoints. If at all in the functioning world you want to look at, hold on to something, hold on to Ishvara, hold on to dharma. Okay? But dharma also don't get rigid about it. There's another problem I noticed. You convert dharma, which are principles, into rules and regulations. Principles are meant to be principles, not converted to rules and regulations, because principles have a certain flexibility when you apply it in a given situation. Rules and regulations, you have to go by the rule. The principles. Yeah, Anu, you have a question?
Namaste, Swamiji. I had a quick question. Once you see the mithyatvam, then like you're saying, nothing is really that important.
Yeah.
But then, and I know you've talked about this before, but there are people who spend enormous energy creating things, doctors, solutions. If they saw the mithyatvam, they wouldn't find that drive, because that drive has to come from ignorance, right?
No, I'll tell you what, you can find a thing is mithya and still enjoy the whole thing. Enjoy the process, do the same thing.
With that same level of intensity though?
What you call that intense commitment that makes you disown everything else, that will go. Because look at it, sometimes you're so involved in creating something, you're ignoring everyone else in your life. That type of intensity will go. Yes, that much will happen. Because it's no more that important to you. And what previously you did out of a passion because it got you joy, And keeping away with it was making you unhappy. Now you will do the same thing out of a sense of fulfillment. Out of a sense of fulfillment. Because the transformation has happened. Now how do you explain the transformation? Something like this. It's an old story, okay, but I have not used it for a long time. There was this rich businessman. Okay? And from his village, he got someone to be a full-time cook. And the cook used to love singing. And he's singing away when he's cooking. And the businessman thought, this guy's got a good voice, he's got talent. So he spoke to some people, cut an album for him. It became a hit song. Okay, some of the songs were a hit. Started getting recording offers, this, that, etc. And the businessman, being a good person, there are such people in the world, I know them. Okay, encouraged him. Yeah. And of course, after some time he had to stop the cooking, and he became a full-time singer. Okay, very popular man. Then after a couple of years, he came back to pay respects to the person who started it all, who helped him take the first steps. So he came there. So by this time, the businessman is more settled, he's handed over the business to his children, everything. He's relaxing. He says, sir, I know you used to love that dish. I will make it for you today. I have got all the ingredients with me. So he goes into the kitchen and starts making them. And he's singing at the same time. So someone walks in and says, hey, who's singing in your kitchen? Remember that singer? He's cooking. Previously, the cook was singing. Now, the singer is cooking. Can you see how the shift has happened? What has changed? Nothing has changed. What has changed? Everything has changed. Previously, I was painting to get a sense of fulfillment. Now also I am painting, but it's out of fulfillment. So the cook is singing and the singer is cooking. That's the shift that has happened. Yeah, total shift that has happened. Yeah. You're the same, but everything has changed. Outside nothing changes. I told you that story also before. The Buddha, the original one, okay? Gautama, the Buddha, talking about one of his students. The flowers are showered for him. That's a Buddhist expression, saying he's got his enlightenment. So all the other students feel, God, Buddha, you put on a pedestal. But this one of us has got this knowledge. Let's go to him and ask him. So they all went to him. Ananda, now that you are an enlightened person, how do you find the world? He opens his eyes, looks as miserable as ever. Meaning, the world has not changed. I am Ananda, that's a different thing. World is the same. You think a wise person goes on the road, there are no traffic jams for him. There are no potholes for him. He'll sail over the potholes. Wish it was true. No, I don't wish it was true. I enjoy that. Why? It keeps me fitter. It makes sure my balance is good. Yeah. As you start getting older, all these are the things that go. So you walk on all these ways. Your fitness is kept very nicely. Yeah. So yes, day before yesterday when I went to the land with with some of the engineers, this, that, etc. I'm walking all over. The 30-year-old engineers have to keep up with me. I don't have to keep up with them. I said, thanks to Bombay roads and all my work. Hey, everything is useful. Nothing has changed. Everything has changed. Body is mithya? Yeah, mithya. You don't have to take care of it. You really don't have to. Prarabdhaya arpitam svavapuhu. Okay? Don't take care of it. But then you'll become a burden for your students. Or whoever is going to give you care, be your caregiver. You want to be that? No, then take care of it. Simple. Yeah. So, simple things. Simple things. You do what is necessary. Everything is mithya. Of course, it is mithya. Yeah. Remember that 4 definitions of mithya I put up in the group, in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, refer to that. So, everything becomes mithya. At the same time, you're functioning. You're functioning in the mithya world with the knowledge of the reality. It's an entirely different experience. So you're functioning, you're having all human emotions. None of them linger. You're not hanging on and holding on. There's no carry forward. Dropped. This is real living in the present. Living in the present is not thinking of the future or not thinking of the past. In the present, you think of the past because you want to draw some lessons out of it. In the present, you plan for the future because you want it all to work out. But you are always in the present. Living awarefully. Ours too much is made of the living of the present. In fact, I wrote an article on that called The Tyranny of Now. People are so focused present, etc. They have forgotten everything else. What they said, this. Hey, that is not living in the present. Yeah, I know now. Where is that book? No? Yeah. How could you write that book if you had not planned and everything? Because that book is not written in one moment. No? The book is written over a series of days, months probably. Yeah. That means it's not planned. No? So when you say now, it is not the same as moment to moment business. That's nonsensical. Yeah, Rohit, you have a question.
Okay, Swamiji, if you could please just elaborate a little more on what you said, that living in the present does not mean not thinking about the past or the future, because there is a tendency to often recollect or retrospect.
And that is healthy.
Be concerned about the matters.
And that is healthy, because otherwise how are you going to learn from your own experiences? Forget learning from somebody else's experience. You won't even learn from your experience if you don't examine your past. So living in the present in the simplest of terms is living awarefully, mindfully if you want to call it, awarefully, very deliberately in whatever you are doing. And moments of spontaneity will come in. Avoid impulsiveness. Avoid rigidity. Follow dharma but avoid rigidity. Rigidity is a problem. Rigidity means you are taking the principles and making to rules and regulations. That is getting stuck. That's getting fossilized. Live by the principles. Principle-oriented functioning. Look into my website. There is a workshop like that. The principle-oriented functioning. Some of the things are put up there.
So even if there is recollection or contemplating on the past or planning for the future, that too can be done mindfully.
Yeah, it can be done mindfully. In fact, it has to be done mindfully. You know, Swami Chinmayanji used to put it very well. Instead of all this living in the present, he used to say, work in the present without regrets of the past or anxieties of the future. No regrets of the past, meaning you have learnt your lessons from the past, examined them and learned those lessons. Anxieties for the future is taken care of by Karma Yoga Buddhi. In fact, with Karma Yoga Buddhi, examine your past. You will find there is no regrets left. You will deal with whatever has to be happening. Even if you have got through some traumatic experience and you need a helping hand, etc., from a therapist or something, you will be able to deal with it much easier. So that regrets of the past and anxieties of the future, Karma Yoga takes care of it. Instead of saying living in the present and making a big gochi out of the whole thing. Mindfulness is good, awareful. We used to call it awareful living. Now the new term, Buddhist term, is mindfulness. Because for them, I awareness doesn't exist as a reality. Therefore, they have to use some other term. So they call it mindfulness. Okay. So this is how you live in the mithya world, recognizing the mithyatva, centered on what you are. So the more knowledge you have about yourself, the more understanding you have, easier it becomes. Okay. Right.
Auntie, can I ask a follow-up question?
Shoot, ask.
I guess I'm struggling with the fact that, it's all mithya, right? You see the mithyatvam, and yes, you can come from fullness, but there's no real need to do this or to do that. You could do this or you could do that.
Correct.
And how do you decide? I mean, I could do this or I could not do this.
Correct.
Both from my foot. I mean, I'm just wondering if you had any guidance.
Sadhu bunja, be a sadhu. Be a monk. Don't worry, a monk does a lot of things, okay? It is focused on the knowledge, the spread of the knowledge, creating students for the future, for that building up infrastructure. So, a lot of things are done. Not that it's not done. The idea is, how do you do it? You say, hey, for this you need to be more centered on the truth. This is important. So, when you are centered on the truth, then you say, well, if you... this is my age now. I'm fit. These are things that are necessary in the society to help people gain this knowledge. I will do what is necessary for it. But supposing I'm still a student, okay, then don't go just by your feelings. Go by your priorities. They'll help you function better. Go your priorities with Karma Yoga Buddhi, etc. That's why in the Gita, 2nd chapter, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi he talks about. That is priorities. Yes, moksha is the ultimate priority. But I have immediate other priorities also, isn't it? So identify them and do that because you know they are important for you. So these things need to be done. Yeah. If you are at a stage in life where there are no priorities left, it's a great stage to be, then only moksha is a priority. Just take care that you have enough to make a living, to live, and follow the knowledge. Yeah. You can't do that if you have kids and things like that. Then some priority of that is there, unless your kids are grown up and they are standing on their own feet. Okay. So when is that? When are they grown up and standing on their own feet? When you are let go. When you let go, then they are standing on their own feet. But they are making so many mistakes. Correct. They will make mistakes. Every generation has to make its own mistakes to stand on their own feet. That's okay. Yeah. Sometimes you may have to give them a bit of support. Support is different from control. Yeah. Make their mistake, let them take care. Certain things you learn by doing only. I see the same thing happening with students on the path of Vedanta. Their life they take care of well because all of you are adults, competent people. So the people who come to me are very competent people. So life they handle very well. But on the moksha marga, I see them making mistakes. Sometimes I tell them, sometimes I say no, they have to learn from their own experience. We have a statement in Hindi, maar kha ke seekhega. You got it, okay. You get rubbed in life and then you learn. It's okay. That's because you can't impose all learning, no? You can only give the knowledge. Learning has to be myself. Yeah. It's okay. Let them be. Everyone is at their own stage of growth. It's okay. So if you go by your priorities, you find that you can tackle life much, much better without the stress of it. And at the same time, that old passion that you had, do or die, I have to get it, that may not be there. It may still be there in some issues. But what you lack in that passion, you will make it up in your calmness, your focus and everything. See, passion makes you achieve great things. But sometimes that leads to destruction. Like few days back was the anniversary of Captain Vikram Batra. He was one of the heroes who lost his life in the Kargil War. Kargil War is a small war, not a big war. It's a war. Okay, Kargil. And I was following things on the TV, on the news, etc., and the war was happening. Okay. And this guy captured 2 peaks and he was going for the 3rd encampment. And the message he sent to his boss said, relax, wait, let the others catch up with you. He says, sir, dil mange more. And he charged the next. I said, this guy is not coming back. The moment he sent that message, dil mange more, and I am seeing it, hearing it, I said, this guy is not going to come back. And he didn't come back. Sometimes that extra passion, it makes you achieve great things, but it is destructive in the long run. We lost someone who could have become, by now, a great general. We lost that, cut short early because too much of passion. We say, na, josh hai, hosh nahi hai. Josh is there, but what is the hosh? What about the understanding that awarefulness is that a little bit? But then when you're young, josh is more. So, but if that hosh comes in, even if the josh goes down a bit, you will achieve the same better, in a better manner. Whether the 3rd encampment was taken there or 4 hours later wouldn't have made a difference to the war. It would have made a difference that we would have had a great warrior, tested in battle. Would have made a great general because he's tested in battle. 1 week of war can teach you more than half a dozen years in training. Would have had that. I beg your pardon, so yes, someone asked a question but the message disappeared. Okay. No, I think Ananta had a question.
I was just asking, the hosh comes from experience or maturity, right?
Maturity, how thinking you are, how calm you can keep yourself. See, there are certain situations where a certain amount of josh, that energy and this and motivation is necessary and it comes, the situation demands it. But in that situation, can you apply a calmer mind, a thinking mind to this thing? His commanding officer said, wait, should I listen? Not to take away anything from his bravery and things like that. It's a great guy. But in fact, I'm sorry you lost him. Because, he could have made a great general. But that is a problem. War is when old men are thinking and talking and youngsters are dying. And if you have some awareful youngsters, they'll come out live and richer for that experience. I know because I've known people like that as well. Commodore Rajendra, some of you know him. I met him. Major General Suri, all these are people like that. Who are young, they face battle, but along with the Josh, they had the hosh. So in your Karma Yoga thing, because you have both combined together, your actions will be more effective, not less. And your commitment is to the truth. That's the most important thing in your life. And sometimes I also say, okay, I'm digressing a bit, but it's important digression. Sometimes I see in students, in their anxiety to know the truth or to be a full-time, etc., they'll try to handle everything in life so that they are freed from all that, and push people the wrong way. We all have done it. Relax. Sharing from my own experience. Relax. You don't handle the world. You handle your life. Your life doesn't mean someone else's life you have to handle for that. No, relax. Let them handle. You do what has to be done. You do what has to be done. That works well. You don't have to control everything so that you can study. You study, things will fall into place. Sometimes it will not fall into place. Okay, if it is like this or like that, it's all right. No, it has to be like this. You're forgetting Mithyatva. The moment you say it has to be like this, you're forgetting Mithyatva. If I forget all this thing, even psychologically, you're getting to should bury, must bury thinking. All shoulds and must. Even that is a distortion. In psychology, it is a distortion. Then what are you talking about Vedanta? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you are going slow in this text, okay? I want you all to understand it well enough so that you can apply it in your life. So that it doesn't become in the books, it becomes a part of your life. That's the important part. Okay, all right. Then going ahead, he says, Rasadayo hi ye koshaha vyakhataha taitriyake tesham atma paro jiva kamyata samprakashitaha. He is quoting another Upanishad just to illustrate this. He says, Rasadayaha panchakoshaha. All your 5 koshas. Now what is your kosha? Koshavat achadagatvat koshaha iti uchyate. Like a kosha. That means not a kosha, but it is like. It is hiding something from your view. But what is hiding is sometimes you don't hide anything. Like camouflaging, you know. Have you seen some of the soldiers' dresses? They are functioning in the jungle. You'll find it all painted in patches. What is this? It's standing out like a sore thumb. It's standing out like a sore thumb in the city. Once where they are in their environment, all these patches completely hide the outline. They blend in with the forest. All those patches blend in with the forest and outline is gone. You're right there, but you don't see the guy. Same way, kosha is like a camouflaging. I have made a mistake. I am the body. So in Taittiriya he says, I am the body. That body is an assemblage, is a product of food, etc. He's already said it. Then he says, Anyantaratma Pranamaya. That's also an assemblage. Left side, right side, head, etc. Tail. What is the stabilizing factor? All that he has explained. Then mind. That's also an assemblage. Left side, right side, all their emotions, etc. He says. Stabilizing factor, the tail. That's the imagery of a bird. Therefore, Pucham Pratishtam. What is Pucham? The tail is the stabilizer, the base. Then Vijnanamayam. Then Anandamayam. After that, Upanishad doesn't say anything. So I remember a great teacher saying, here the Upanishad is eloquently silent. You have to refer what is said in Kathopanishad. Avrutta Chakshuhu. Signal drop. Come up. Why is this not showing up there? Okay, back here again. Okay, so they say you have to refer to Kathopanishad. Not true. Because the Shastra is very clear. Brahma Pucham Pratishtam. What is the basis of Anandamaya Kosha? Is nothing but Brahman. And Anandamaya basis is Vijnanam, etc., etc., etc. Therefore, the basis of the whole thing is what? Brahma Pucham Pratishtam. Therefore, here he says, okay, Vyakyataya Taitreyike. There it has already been explained. Tesham Atma Paraha Sa Yatha Samprakashita. Kham Yatha Prakashita. They are like the space which is all pervading. Akash, the Atma is also all pervading, limitless. He doesn't say Atma is Akasha. He is not saying that. Because he is saying Tasmat Etasmat Atmanaha Akasha Smutha. From the Atma, Akasha manifested. Atma Brahman, one of the same thing. Not indiscriminately used, because he started by saying Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. And after having explained that Satyam Jnanam Anantam, etc., he says Tasmat Etasmat Atmanaha. That, therefore, from this Atma, which Atma? Which I revealed as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman, from that Atma, Akasha, etc. has come, the whole creation back to the Purusha, person, 5 koshas, back to Anandam. Therefore, from Anantam, back to Anandam, which is nothing but Anantam. That means what? Mithyatam, the whole world. No? If something has come and the original remains as the original, then there is no coming. Where is coming? So when you say everything has come from Brahman, remember my old story? This guy telling me, Swami, after all, what does your Upanishad say? Sadeva Somidam Agramasi Tekameva Advitiyam Brahman. Before all this, what was there is Brahman. And then from Brahman, the world emerged. Like I had 1 kilo atta. From 1 kilo atta, I made 50 rotis. Abhi kya? Atta kidhar hai? Where is atta? Atta is gone, only rotis are there. No. From 2.5 meters of cloth, I made the kurta. So where is the cloth? Where the kurta is? Cloth has not changed. Nama Rupa Vidyate Vikaroyam Namadeyam. It's a modification for which you give a name. There is no real change. It's an apparent change. Therefore, the consciousness remains as consciousness. Projecting the whole universe, it remains as consciousness. But because we are caught up in the names and forms, the first catching up is in this mind here. This body and mind caught up, this is me, and then the world is vast. Now I have to deal with the world, I have to confront the world, I have to do 101 things with the world. And we start feeling we are indispensable also as another problem. You know, if I don't hold it together, everything will go 6s and 7s. Really? Really? You know, many mothers with young children meant 10 years, 12 years old, I told me this. I said, why don't you go for 3 days out and come back and see what happens? So the father is there, mother is out, who is holding everything together, you know. And it is true, mothers hold families together, I will give them that much. But they go out, come back, she comes and says, what happened? What happened? They didn't even miss me, everything was going on. In fact, they were having a great time. Because the father got a chance to spoil the kids at that time. Otherwise, you are very strict. You should not eat this, you should not eat that. No pizza for you, no junk food. The father said, chalo, kha lega. Because he also enjoys pizza. Sorry, I forgot. One person will suffer. You know who? Your pet dog. I've seen lady doctors missing conferences because there's nobody to look after their pet dog. What is happening to you all? Really? Missing classes, holidays, conferences because nobody to take care of my dog. World is mithya, but your dog is satyam. Huh? Give me a break. And I don't mean a Kit Kat. That's advertisement. Like, give me a break. Yeah. Hey, you have that limitless consciousness, everything else is just something comes and goes. Understand the Mithyatvam well, then Advaita is so clear. This is Advaita Pakram. Your that consciousness is so clear. Mithyatvam we have seen. अभी क्या है? And you know why the dog becomes so important? Because only the dog can give you unconditional love. Your children or your husband cannot give you that. But it's a one-way affair. If the dog could communicate, you'll know what it would say, what all he would say. It's a symbiotic relationship. You feel important because you're solely responsible. There's all sense of importance only coming through. Another living life is dependent so much on me. So you want to be independent, but that's your dependency also because you're dependent on that feeling of importance to give you. Hey, I'm not against you all having pet dogs. Please have them if you have to, but have a sense of perspective in the whole thing. Mithyatvam, see the Mithyatvam of every aspect of your life, and the fact that you are Advaitam Satyam, and that's what you are trying to bring into your life. You cannot bring that into your life and hold on to these pockets of Mithya which as though they are very, very real. So, think it over, okay? Next class we'll go ahead further. Yeah. He's quoting from Madhu Brahman and everything. That we will see next class. Okay, good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you